Now, sometimes when you watch a first episode of something and you're rather impressed, you can enter the following episodes feeling disappointed. Luckily, that didn't happen with episode 2. I enjoyed it just as much as the first episode, and I think the future of this one is rather interesting. The fact that they actually took their time with basically a new game plus character setup, where he gets to try a second time at life, build his character the way he wants with Operation Kill the Hero, at a specific time after the hero deals with the Demon Lord, as otherwise the world would be screwed, and then ultimately take care of the hero before the hero destroys the world. It's so interesting to see a show confident in taking that time, and I'm sure there's going to be some people who watch this episode saying it's slow or something like that, where I completely disagree. Constantly things were happening, but it was more on the setup and exploration of the world building, character building, and honestly, it's nice to have a main character who, even with getting reincarnated, I still firmly stick by that you could have an anime dedicated to this man's life as he was this badass assassin. However, I like the fact that he's not betraying his characteristics just because he's now an anime boy with this anime mother and assassin father and things like that. He very much is still the same person with the same maturity, but he also has a new dream, and that dream is to live for himself, even though he's kind of roped into yet again another assassination plotline, which he kind of wishes he probably didn't have to, but hey, it's better than the previous job, supposedly, but I still don't trust that goddess. Honestly, I totally expect what this goddess is doing is basically evil or self-indulging. I wouldn't be shocked in the slightest if the hero brings about this woman's downfall. I could see that maybe being a reason. Ultimately, though, I feel like he's going to get connected to the hero, probably not want to kill said hero, and either that will bite him in the ass, like the goddess will seek revenge, or maybe he'll team up with the hero in order to kill the goddess instead. It'll be interesting to see. Even if we don't get it in the anime, it'll be fun to see where the source eventually would go from here. But the fact that they took their time with the character building I thought was really interesting. He asked questions, he didn't just roll with the punches, he didn't just say, hey, she's telling me this weird supernatural shit, I'm just gonna say that she's an expert. No, he asked the questions. Hey, what would happen if I could save the world without killing the hero? Do you care more about killing the hero or saving the world? And she kind of smugly says about saving the world, though it's still up in the air in my opinion if that was just smugness because of the power, or if she was trying to hide something. But the idea of like attribute cards and things like that, and how she so smugly also acknowledges like, hey, I can't get in trouble for this because this is just a series of coincidences. And I guess the hero has like 30 of these incredible skills where he's been blessed with 5. And I like how he goes like criteria to criteria, like the most expert to S rank to A, B, C, you know what I mean? I love seeing him like perfectly craft an assassin build that as he was picking and choosing, I was thinking to myself, yeah, that is perfect for him. He'll be able to create his own spells, he'll regenerate real fast, he'll basically be a top tier assassin, and in theory, even better than he was in his previous life. So I love the idea that when he's finished building his character, like the goddess kind of is like, oh, humans are amusing because that doesn't look that impressive. The fact that what seems to be, for probably most viewers, a god tier assassin build is laughed at because the way characters and people probably normally form is very different than what he picked, but then again, she chose him for a reason, and his build will be interesting to see where it takes him. So I like that they took half an episode to continue with the isekai portion, because really they could have just had like 2 minutes in the first episode of him being an assassin, getting killed by a truck or an airplane, and then talks with the goddess for maybe 10 minutes, and then we're basically where we're at here with the family. Instead, they took their time with that, and that kind of helps separate this isekai from other ones out there. And the family situation was rather interesting because I love the comment he makes towards the end of this episode when they're eating the stew that he made. He talks about how he had better equipment, he had better flavors, he had better techniques in his original world. Though, despite this food tasting arguably worse, he's enjoying it more because it's a genuine family life that he's never had because he was raised by an organization that trained him to kill. So it's interesting to pretty much keep him in the same thought and mindset of killing because it's a family of assassins, but still give a genuine family dynamic all at the same time. Though I don't think I'll be the only one who got major red flag vibes when the father asked him to undress and he started feeling his body. I was really hoping they weren't committing to my red flag thought because honestly, it gave me Stranger Danger vibes. though it's interesting how, because of his knowledge of medicine and the human physique, he accurately can examine where he needs to train further in order to become the top tier assassin. So I'm glad that they kept the family as genuinely a good family relationship, just the fact that they're assassins. The mother is arguably the most anime portion of this episode, though I do like how there is a genuine family dynamic there, because it could have been very easy to reincarnate him. He's in an orphanage, doesn't have family, grows up with the childhood friend there who just turns out to be obviously the hero, has to kill it someday. Rather, starting him off yet again at round 2 of his life, killing is what he knows and killing is what he'll do. And the new eyes he gets that are basically binoculars that can also examine mana and things like that, it's so cool to see how they definitely drop information, like the fact of the father explaining the eye surgery, but they can also just like throw so much in your face that on a visual level you can piece together, and if you care to dive in more and think about what it all means, the world building and character building just becomes even more incredible. But if you just want to look at it as face value as a bunch of cards and skills floating in the air, or the fact that they subtly announce the fact that he basically made a slow cooker in this world, it really does add an extra layer and an extra bit of quality to an already pretty impressive anime. I think the one thing I hope to see with how they're going to continue to progress his relationships even outside the family, as we get introduced to one of the top 5 mages of the world, and I'm sure with everyone probably watching Mushoku Tensei this season, we're probably getting some familiar feelings to that of Roxy when Roxy came in, and I love that type of stuff because the idea of him wanting to learn magic and supposedly at his age shouldn't be possible, but because he's a child prodigy, naturally he's probably going to excel at it. And I think it'll be interesting to see his skill creating ability and use, especially with a character like her, because that's where that skill is probably going to really flourish. I think this assassin is going to work out. There was definitely some worries I had about him going into a new life, abandoning who he was and just becoming an anime character that you think, why did they even reincarnate to begin with? Oh, just because they wanted that isekai hook. But no, like, they're actually committing to it while keeping true to his characteristics, and definitely for 2 episodes anyway, one of the more interesting isekai kind of protagonists that I've seen in some time. I like the maturity, and I'm glad that we didn't just hang around with him as a baby. I've seen that work before, but I think given what we're seeing here, we need to see him move on his own 2 feet, and killing some rabbits and honing his skills. That's what we should see. That's what we got. We basically built a New Game Plus character from the beginning before even playing the full game. This is like the sequel to his original life, and he starts out just completely OP, and I'm really excited to see how his character powers and personality will develop with this new lifestyle that's both familiar and different. Let me know your thoughts, feelings, though, down below. Favorite moment, leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.